Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast Dragon Ball edition. Today we are here for the final L7C podcast of 2023. If you're listening to this, that means the end of year podcast has already came out and we are recording the day after. So we have the Dragon Ball expert, Mr. Mitch Osso with us. How are you doing today, sir?
Going pretty good. Nothing new to report from yesterday. Just living the dream, man.
Yep.
Ready to
And
talk Dragon Ball, man.
And for the people who haven't listened to the end of your podcast by the time this comes out, make sure you go check that out. That way you can see how Mitch did with his podcast statistics and you guys just supporting Mitch and keeping him in the top five and moving some of his episodes higher up on the all-time listing. So shout out to all the Dragon Ball fans out there.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support. Appreciate you. Well, let's get started. So, finally, Dragon Ball Super Chapter 100, the
Hmm.
final chapter of the superhero arc,
Hmm.
titled Burst Forth Light of Death. Now, this manga chapter, as some of you may be aware, if you listened to it last month, or maybe you just saw out in the world, this chapter was illustrated in color for the first few pages. So a little bit of a nice treat for us there. So yeah, it starts off with Gohan charging as what we were calling it, and what they also called it in the movie, the special beam cannon. However, there's been a name change to this in the manga, and again, different than even in the movie. Gohan is charging his Light of Death. Alrighty then. But don't worry, they address it. So spoiler alert. Anyways, yep, so Gohan charges his Light of Death and he blasts it towards Cell Max, who's being held down by Piccolo, and Cell Max is charging one of his huge. I'm just going to call it a death ball, and shout out the baby wherever he is in the GT universe, dead. But so I keep wanting to call it Special Beam Cannon. Just I'm about to trip. So, but yeah, the Light of Death, he shoots it on its way. Cell Max throws his death ball, and the two forms of energy they collide against each other and go on semi sort of struggles for a little bit, trying to push it through. However, a little bit of a different situation occurs in the manga versus the movie, and that is Goten and Trunks, their fusion has split, and they go and kick away the hand of
Mhm.
Cell Max. That didn't happen in the movie, I don't believe.
No.
And Gohan gives another push with his Light of Death, vaporizes right through Cell's attack. Piccolo holds uh, Cell Max's head in place, and the beam goes right through his head. Um, Pretty good illustration on pages 10 and 11 of that, with Goten and Trunks looking on. And then same old kind of graphics that we had in the movie. The beam goes out into space, and Cell's head is, destroyed, and he falls to the earth. And then Gamma 1 makes a remark that everyone needs to get away because Cell's going to explode, and that he does. And everyone gets away. So that's how the fight ends. And just get a little bit here of Bulma and Pan looking over where the wreckage occurred, and they're going to go down and investigate, make sure everyone's okay. Uh, Krillin, apparently he got thrown away by the blast, and 18 had to pluck him out of the ground like he was a damn carrot. So just appropriate. We see, Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1 grieving over the death of Gamma 2. Uh, Pam sees Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan, and freaks out at their transformations, but then they go back to their base forms and everyone's happy, blah blah blah. And not too much difference here. There are some comments here I actually feel like this translation though was not what people were sharing
Okay.
about Piccolo and Gohan here, remarking of how strong, Cell Max was. Like Piccolo looks over at, the Gammas and says that, they needed their help. They would not have beat Cell without their help. And Gohan makes a remark that he wonders if, his dad and Vegeta could have taken down Cell. Whereas I think like people who got a hold of that panel maybe translated incorrectly, where I think people were saying like definitive, like that Goku and Vegeta could not. So maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I saw fake news, but at least here it says that there is the possibility that Goku and Vegeta would have been fine. But anyways, I digress. Piccolo scolds Gohan like what he normally does, that he needs to train during times of peace. But then going back to the beginning of the description of the chapter, Piccolo does ask what in the world was his final attack, and Gohan says that it's supposed to be Light of Death, and he makes fun of it. Piccolo makes fun of it, and Gohan just calls it that it's a poor imitation. Uh, well, at least there's a little bit of self-awareness there, so I'm cool with that. Uh, but then Piccolo says that it was brilliant. So we see Gamma 2 fade away, and we see everyone talking about, Dr. Hedo and Gamma, and that, they're not really bad guys, not really good guys. And Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1 were complimenting on the Z Fighter, saying that they're heroes. Um, and Krillin says that, he's not going to take them to jail. And 18 scolds them, saying that they give androids a bad name. And um, so on and so forth. And Bulma goes and hires Dr. Hedo to make skin products so that she doesn't have to use the dragon, or at least that's Piccolo's hope. And then Gamma 1 is a bodyguard. Other than that, that's that's really the gist of everything that happens on Earth. And um, we see Pan flying around. Piccolo says that the next step to their training begins tomorrow, and we do see now this was different in the movie in terms of the villains here, and that is we do see Carmine has survived,
Yep.
um, and him and some of the henchmen, they're exiting the area, they're trying to recoup, and Carmine says that they're going to return to, Red Pharmaceuticals. And so, I mean, that sort of leaves more Red Ribbon Army storylines for the future. So we'll see how that goes. But end of the chapter, we actually see a little bit of fighting with Goku and Vegeta on Beerus's planet, and not too much, but just a couple shots in between them both, and then just like in the movie, they go for their final blows, and Vegeta has more of a reach than Goku, and he just taps him right on the chest, and Goku collapses in exhaustion. Goku admits to losing, and then everyone starts paying attention again to the fight because apparently it took too long, and everyone except Broly actually cared or didn't care. And Vegeta's he celebrates that he, quote, bested Kakarot, and he falls down in exhaustion. And yeah, same old. Just Broly and I don't remember these guys' names, the other people that were with them, but they're crying,
Chile and Lamoche or something like that.
something like that. It's just, like it at this point it's just going to be Beerus's cook and Beerus's girlfriend. So
Well, I know
that's
her name's Chile.
I just I can't even think of my brain here at the
Oh
moment. So yeah,
man.
that's it. Whis goes and gets his staff. He thought he had it near him, but he goes and retrieves it behind a tree. Remember, Bulma tried to call him, and he didn't answer. And well, he returns a call to Bulma, and uh, as he's doing that, actually, Gohan kind of has a little um how do I say this, like a realization. He says that, yeah, and realize that Pan's been growing so much, and and that he shouldn't keep his nose, he says, in the grindstone, but it's just, he shouldn't focus on work as much. And but then yeah, uh Bulma, gives a little Beerus a little bit of hard time that the they didn't answer, and all the food that she had is cold, and we'll have to wait till next time. And Whis is a little bit confused, and that's how the chapter ends. So, not
Yeah.
no, that's it.
Um, so just like you already said, I'll just go backwards. So obviously in the manga, we got a little bit more of that Goku Vegeta fight because in the movie, we just saw Vegeta hit that last hit and Goku fell down. But we actually got to see like just a little bit more how like they were really bloodied and bruised, like they were really going at it, seems like for a long time, especially with those rules of no transformations, no blast. So just
I'm trying
seeing
to think in the manga chapters here, how much did we get of the beginning of the fight?
um, I
Because
don't
the movie gave us a decent amount of
at the beginning.
beginning and then just cut through the middle and the end there,
Yeah. And then
but I
this
don't
one gave
remember.
us more a little bit at the
Yeah, at the
end
end.
and all of that. And then like you said, the Gohan part. Basically Gohan at the beginning of this, well, middle of the chapter where he's like when he brought up Goku and Vegeta, he's like, and Piccolo's saying, "Yeah, you don't say. This is what I keep telling you. If they're not around, like this is what could happen." And going and having that realization, and then the Pan realization, so the double whammy. Also, just want to go back to I know a lot of people are talking about the group shot, how that was really well drawn of Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Krillin, 18, Bulma, Pan on pages 24 and 25.
Hmm.
I know people talked about it's like, man, that's the Z fighters I want, which I do really do like that picture, especially with like Piccolo front and center, because he's the most experienced
Yeah.
one out there. And if you want to talk about like new generational things, shoot, Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, that was supposed to be the Boo Squad. Like if you remember when Goku went back to the other world, Vegeta died. These were going to be the four to save the world because Piccolo was.
Hmm.
So seeing that was pretty cool. And then also having, I think your thing, the catch of what you said about Gohan, about I wonder instead of definitely like, oh, Dad and Vegeta would have been able to beat him because obviously we've already talked about that. This is confirmed. This happened after Moro Granola arc.
Yeah.
But Go and we have already talked about it, but Gohan and Piccolo have not seen Goku and Vegeta since Moro. So they're basing
Hmm.
it off of obviously the Moro versions of Goku and Vegeta. They have not seen what the granola versions of Goku and Vegeta are. So if Cell Max is stronger than the Moro versions, that's fine. But we don't and if Beast Gohan's stronger than the Moro versions of Goku and Vegeta might be fine too. It's just they don't know what the granola versions are. So,
Who knows? As far as everyone's concerned, Krillin is stronger than Moro
oh, here you go.
because he is the last person I saw in this manga chapter, and that's just how scaling works, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
Just,
my goodness.
you anyone who truly believes in the scaling, I mean, every time I see y'all in the YouTube comments, just whoever might have a poll out there, who's the strongest, just I just noticed the trend. Whoever's been printed last, therefore the strongest. So it's
Oh
just,
my goodness. I will also say with Piccolo holding that page 10 and 11 where you see that special beam cannon go through Cell's head. Awesome, awesome artwork.
yep.
And it's funny how Piccolo was holding Cell and Gohan shot the special beam cannon. Just if you go back to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where Goku was holding Radix and Piccolo shot the special beam cannon, and then Gohan helped a little with the headbutt, just like Goten and Trunks helped a little bit with that, which was not in the movie, like you already said, and we already talked about the art. The colored pages look great, and I mean, we've been saying this since like '89 that it was going to end on 100, so they could start a new year with new stuff, and we were right. Like it ended exactly at 100, and
Yep.
now we get to literally go into 2024 not knowing what the heck is going to be the manga chapter.
It's nice to actually see though on, Shonen
Hmm.
that it does say that there will be a chapter in 29 days.
Yeah.
So, this is continuing. We will get I don't know how far into a new story we'll get
Hmm.
into, but at least we know now that January 20th comes along or whatever that date is, and we'll actually have content. Next year's going to be exciting, man. We got new manga, Daima, maybe a video game. Like,
Yeah, just to go on that video game while we've been away at the video game awards past couple of weeks ago since it came out. Dragon Ball, I'm still gonna call it Budokai Tenkaichi 4. The official name is Sparkling Zero. They showed their first real trailer, and you got to see Goku, Vegeta, obviously going at it, and you got to see stage destruction. Like this trailer was unexpected. Again, Dragon Ball dropped something, the whole anime world stops. It was trending all night. People were talking about it all week. And then like at the end, you see some of the different characters of the trailer. I'll put the link in like our description box. You see obviously like two versions of Future Trunks, obviously Cell Saga and Goku Black Saga, 18 Cell Frieza. And then they show you Bergamo, and then they end the trailer with Jiren and then Goku punching. So like Mitch, if you're showing Bergamo, for people who don't know, the leader, Triangle Wolf of Danger, if you're showing him in the trailer, that means there's going to be a lot of people in this game. Like, because Bergamo will be someone me and you would be like, oh, who cares? But if you put him in there, you're probably putting all the other people in there.
oh yeah, you might see all 80 fighters of the Tournament of Power, let alone that subset of
Hmm.
the storyline. Like you might see everyone in there. Yeah, you know, uh, like I'm trying to think. I can't get the word out of my mouth. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had over 100 characters. This is going to
Hmm.
stomp that record without a doubt. You're going to be able to fight anyone and everyone. And
Yeah. And then Mitch, it also came out like when they did an interview with one of the head producers of this game, which I want to really sit and brainstorm this part with you because now everyone's giving Xenoverse 2 a whole bunch of credit. They said this game, Tenkaichi 4 Sparkling Zero, has been in development for 5 years. So now people are saying that the reason Xenoverse 2, it was all like behind the scenes, big brain ahead of way above our heads. The reason Xenoverse 2 was pushing out content after content after content was to hold off to stall until this game was ready to be unveiled.
I'm curious as to why this game takes 5 years to make. It doesn't for what I think of 5 years. I don't. I couldn't imagine that this game would take 5 years to make, or even six by the time that it comes out. 6 or 7 years. I mean, this is not like a Skyrim or a Grand Theft Auto 6 or a Starfield or whatnot. But I don't know this. If it takes them that long to make this game, this thing has to blow everything out of the water. Like,
Yeah.
so I
Now,
mean, kudos
I,
to Xenoverse for, putting the gaming community on its back for Dragon Ball. But
yeah, which is kind of crazy because when they said that, there's obviously been other games that come out like Fighters, Kakarot, all that. But and Xenoverse 2, I kind of laugh at that too because now everyone made that little headcanon rumor mill. And, oh my gosh, we have to give Xenoverse 2 more respect. I'm like, I mean, when this game still comes out, Xenoverse 2 isn't going to die. They still have new DLC coming. They just had Ultra Instinct come out. My thing, which I haven't heard anyone talk about, is since they said they've been working on this game since 2018. 2018 is when the Super Anime ended. So did the voice actors just go from the Super Anime to this? That's what I'm thinking.
Do you think COVID had anything to do with it?
I do because I think any game that got released during like 2020, especially 2020, just because of COVID, it was so hard to make games. Everyone's at each other's house. I think it had a way in it, but I'm just seeing that 2018, man, like because the anime in Japan ended March 30th, 2018 is like, so you get
Hmm.
all those actors in immediately. So they do this project and then you get the English actors in after that. And then maybe that's also a reason why we haven't gotten the anime back because they've been doing this project.
I couldn't imagine a video game being so large that it actually takes up all the resources for an anime for 5 years, though. But
I mean, if they do
that's
the
where some
story
of the
mode
hints are
like
pointing to, though.
from if they do the whole Dragon Ball story of Ball Z GT Super, don't you, especially voiceovers and doing, don't you think that would take a couple of years though?
Maybe. Especially if you went all the way back, if you
Mm-hmm.
incorporated even Dragon Ball, because I mean, there's a lot of story in Dragon Ball that people don't know about,
Yes.
and a lot of good story, a lot of good story, and obviously those characters can, you know, compete with where where the storyline is now, but like, I mean that yeah, that'd be a pretty big because even Xenoverse doesn't dive into that, you know?
No. Tenkaichi 3 in the story mode, you have to fight General Blue. I don't even know if a lot of people know who General Blue is.
They don't. He died because of a tongue, though. So there you go. Spoiler alert.
But
But
it's just crazy. Like when you hear 5 years of development and you talked about could potentially be this year because for people gamers know like they already have a wish list now, and if you're gonna have that up, games shouldn't be too far behind.
yeah,
If you could already put in your wish list and like you could already look at some details in the PlayStation store and all of that. And Mitch, this game also they talked about that you said earlier about having Dragon Ball Daima in the game. We haven't even seen Daima yet, and they're already talking about Daima's going to be in the game.
I don't know. I guess I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I would think that they would need to have Daima in it, and that would explain part of that 5 years
Hmm.
that's going on. But I'm trying to, I'm just trying to think how the storyline would work on that because GT always gets me because
Hmm.
I'm like, especially if it's easy with Xenoverse or like Fighter Z, for example, like to incorporate like GT, just either time travel or just an original story. You can kind of do whatever you need to do just to kind of mesh it in. But like GT's not canon, so therefore, then I ask like, is Daima going to be canon?
We won't know until October. We won't know anything about this until October.
Yeah, I'm just yeah, I'm trying to think about it like how the story even goes.
Yeah,
But
but go ahead.
oh no, that was it.
I was gonna say from like the trailer too, man. It looks like they're because the Budokai series, Budokai, the original Budokais, and the Tenkaichi Budokai series made it. They're the most Dragon Ball. That's why they're so loved. How the games felt like you had stage destruction if you did like Frieza's Death Ball or a big enough
Hmm.
blast. You had beam clashes, which I feel like we haven't had beam clashes since Burst Limit, which I know a lot of fans are happy about that. And also because, hopefully they want the mechanic, like spinning the analog stick. They want that to be a little different in these because, these controllers aren't cheap anymore in
So
2023. But just more Dragon Ball stuff. The graphics look amazing from that trailer, but again, trailers can be deceiving. We'll see how it goes when people are actually playing. And obviously, I forgot too that they had a Broly in there. Like they have transformations back because some of these games, man, you weren't even able to transform. You like were just stuck in a form, which
yeah.
I know people
Yeah,
wanted
you
to transform.
selected the character in the
Hmm.
menu as they were already transformed. I always thought that was kind of weird, but
Yeah, so that stuff's coming back, and we're gonna see. I mean, Dragon Ball Battle Hour is in January. I know some people have talked about Mitch. I mean, because the Tenkaichi stuff also and Raging Blast too, they did like what if stories.
Yeah.
Like, Raging Blast had the what if Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3 and he fought like Gotenks and Broly and all that, or what if Trunks had to like stop people from messing with his like him being born and he had to like stop Yamcha from dating Bulma, like stupid stuff like that. So Mitch, if they're doing the 5 years, like 5 years of waiting, I don't know if this is high expectations, but I'm expecting all drag like I'm expecting the what if of like Dragon Ball Heroes. Like, are we talking about we're gonna have Cumber and Hearts in the game type stuff? Because then you have the chance to be maybe the greatest anime game of all time.
I don't know if they have the balls to do that, because they already have that already into a game itself. And then if
Hmm.
you incorporate that into a game, then oh man, I can't wait to hear everyone talking about you know, could this be considered canon?
Oh, because it's in.
Just because you're just meshing all this shit together, and then because that's the fun part about Xenoverse too, is that these characters
Hmm.
have interactions in which they never would in the show or in a manga, but
And
since all
Xenoverse 2 has like unique dialogue sometimes when you mix certain people together.
yep,
Like Whis and Beerus with Super Saiyan 4s. Like that's some of my favorite dialogue.
yep,
But it's crazy, man. Like you said, the community is like once January hits, it's all like, all right, like you said, new chapter, new game potentially this year or next year, new animes guaranteed for the fall. Like this is new territory for Dragon Ball in a long time because we have no idea what any of the stuff's gonna be.
yeah. Finally, we get fed, man. You know how we had described that a couple of weeks ago. Like the fandom is hangry. Let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
roasting
Mm-hmm.
each other, ruthless, ruthless aggression, Mr. John Cena, and just
Yeah, people were Mitch, there was actually we're talking about the community. There was people mad that there was no previews of the next saga in this one, in this chapter.
I think people just want to be pissed. Like, just we're sitting here like, yes, it's done.
Hmm.
We got this whole movie into a manga. Great. It's a little bit of a grind, but you know what? We made it. We made it to the finish line. Now we're just waiting for January to get here, and we can start something new. That's how we're looking at it. And everyone else just wants to bitch that they didn't see Black Freeze at the end or whatever it is. It's like, just calm your tits.
Bro, I don't know if you saw the rumor, but people were spreading this rumor or fake manga thing that people were starting to believe it was real of Black Frieza showing up to Earth confronting Gohan and Piccolo, and that was going to be the last page. I was like, get out of here.
Just those those damn bots, they got us. Well, they didn't get me.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
didn't
get
get me, but I
you.
saw
They didn't
some
get
YouTubers talking about like Black Frieza shows up to Earth, confront Gohan and Piccolo. I was like, dude, they are not going to do that.
no, no. There's tell there. I mean, did we kind of hope? We did kind of hope. We had said that I think last month
Hmm.
or 2 months ago that we hoped that maybe they would kind of hint towards what was coming, but it wasn't like it was like truly expected. It's just like just get the job done and let us move on. But nah, that
I just don't understand like why they thought they were gonna have something new of 2020, like some the new stuff unveiled now. They're gonna keep that a secret. Like this shoot, usually the spoilers a week before, they only showed one page and it was Gohan doing the light of death. So
wasn't like there was much to spoil though.
I know
Like,
that is true too. That is true. And like with this
it is
chapter being
funny.
over and the chapter of the movie's the last animated thing we've seen, and now it matches the manga. So again, just going back to it, we have zero clue what is about to be shown in January.
It's funny to think that, they have no problem showing these drafts like a week before and,
Hmm.
like telling us, even before the chapter comes out that Goku's going to toss a Senzu bean tomorrow and just piss
Oh
everyone off.
man, what a day that was.
Yeah, they have no problem doing that. But then all of a sudden they come out and say, "Yeah, we've been working on this game for 5 years," and somehow no one fucking knew it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I wanted to bring that up too. 5 years, zero leaks.
Yeah, I
Zero.
mean, I understand that people sign NDAs, but there's no way in hell you didn't find some disgruntled employee who was like, "Oh, fuck this place."
And
Like, well,
all the big you none of them knew. Like
no
that's
one,
what's crazy in this way. Like keeping secrets in this like in these things now is just even more impressive if you can do it. But 5 years, not a word, not any of the voice actors slipping like, oh, I'm gonna go record Sparking Zero on their Twitter feed. Nope, nothing.
nope, not at all.
Like man, those NDAs they must have been extreme. Like,
They must have threatened their families and
and it's crazy too
the
because
bloodlines, man.
I mean, just weeks before I saw Christopher Sabbath talking and like he had no hint of like, oh, I just got some things I gotta do and you just, be paid. He didn't say any of that stuff. He's just like, doing his voice. He didn't bring up, oh, we got some products. Nothing. And he's like an executive on the Dragon Ball stuff.
Yep, yep.
He didn't say like, oh yeah, just watch YouTube in 2 weeks. There's gonna be something crazy coming up. Because we know he would know when this type of stuff drops.
Even Daima got a little bit of leaked like a few weeks prior. They were calling it something else, but
Dragon Ball
nonetheless,
Magic.
they have magic. So I mean, like, I mean, that got leaked.
hmm
We didn't have the correct name of it,
Yep.
but we, the community found out something was coming. But somehow a video game doesn't or gets, especially in a world where companies get hacked all the time.
For
You know,
ransom. For
yeah, or
ransom.
like Sony gets hacked back in like 2013 by North Korea. What's the one that's happening now? Insomnia Games.
Insomniac Games, like they hacked stuff
Yeah,
about Wolverine and all that shit.
yeah, they got
Rocksteady
hacked.
Games just got hacked, showing
It's
stuff
just
of their new game coming out, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And the hacks mess up the fan because like when the fan sees some of that shit and it looks like it sucks, they're like, I'm not buying that game.
Yep. You remember Grand Theft Auto got hacked.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, which is kind of
The
crazy how
source
we're
code,
getting.
like, I don't remember if the actual source code got leaked or if they
hmm
feared that the source code got leaked. But I mean, it's kind of amazing that if this really actually was 5 years in the making, that we didn't find out.
Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto, I think too, what had the most watched trailer like ever on a game that was
Yeah,
already leaked, pretty, pretty much. But when people saw it's officially real, they're like, "Holy jeez!"
that's
Yeah.
crazy. But
But yeah, 5 years, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, people screenshotting text messages. Like no one leaked this stuff to like Geekdom or Scholar. Like, hey, I got this screenshot saying this has been in the work for 5 years. Get ready to report it on this day. Nothing.
nothing.
Which more power, more power to a man. Like, cause, but then also if you, like you said, 5 years, that means your game, it really needs to hit if it's been in the works for 5 years and potentially more because we don't have an official date.
It needs to come out complete. Like
hmm
can't have like a cyberpunk kind of deal.
Yep.
It needs to have like, like a Hogwarts Legacy kind of thing where
hmm
like it came out PlayStation and Xbox, PC, I think PC, but I don't play
hmm
on PC. But like it came out, but it didn't come out on Switch because Switch is a significantly less powerful console. But so then it was supposed to be originally released like in June, but now it came out in November, and I know some people that have it. It doesn't obviously it doesn't look as good as on one of the higher consoles, but still functions, still works well, and is still enjoyable by the people that I know who play it. So it's like if you're taking the time, that significant amount of time to actually make the game, make it right and don't have a
hmm
cyberpunk situation where Sony is taking your shit off the market and issuing refunds. And then your game becomes great later after you patch it. Like, don't just get it right the first time.
Yeah, I think with the problem too is because man, we know this fan base. if it is asked to start, I don't. They ain't gonna recover.
Mm-mm.
They are not gonna recover because you're gonna obviously have the diehard Dragon Ball fans get it. The people who don't want the competitive 2D style like fighters don't and just want Dragon Ball are gonna get it.
Yep.
Fighting people are gonna get it. Video game reviewers who do anime video games are gonna get it. Like, there's gonna be a lot of people getting this game, and that first week is gonna be critical, man.
If it if it stinks or underperforms, you bet your ass the team that's working on Xenoverse 3, they're going to get put on fucking like, they're going to have their treadmill is going to be at 100
Oh yeah,
miles.
they're gonna tell them like, yeah, you need to do it. You need to
Yeah,
actually.
we need to get this game out immediately.
But what if, bro? But if we want to just, just hypotheticals, what if Xenoverse 3, like this whole time, like if everyone's saying this game has been in 5 years because they wanted to wait for stuff to end in Xenoverse 2, what if the Xenoverse 3 team is like, we're not doing it until you give us Moro and Granola's voice actors?
Yep.
Like, what if they're at their, what if that's the standstill?
They could because if they released a Xenoverse 3 trailer and you see Moro and like Omega Shenron like
Mm,
in a
that would be
freaking trailer
crazy. That
together,
would be nuts.
or you see like Gas versus I don't know, like Janemba or somebody like that,
Mm,
or like Orange Piccolo versus Hirudegan, whatever it might be,
hmm.
like that kind of shit that will blow up the fandom like for excitement, like just seeing those cross. So yeah, that would make sense that they're
It's a
not going to
good.
make the game until Super starts back up.
Yeah, because again, we said it before. I didn't know who Jared's English voice actor wasn't. I heard him first in Xenoverse before I heard him on TV,
Yep.
which is crazy to actually think about. That his probably was recording in Xenoverse 2 lines before his Dragon Ball Super line. So I mean, that could be the reason, man. That because granola, all the heaters, all of that, you can do some. Bro, I already just thought of a crazy thing. Before Gas gets the wish, you can have a Xenoverse timeline where the heaters are going facing off against Bojack's crew.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. BoJack gets like a power boost or some shit,
Hmm.
competes again, or the Heaters versus the Pride Troopers.
Oh, yeah, yeah, because they're an evil organization, quote unquote,
Yep.
and the Pride Troopers are basically
Yep.
superhero police officers. That would be a good mix too.
Yep. And then we can finally settle. Okay, maybe not settle. We can finally settle debate of Jiren versus Gas.
In the game. Yeah.
Yep, like Gas is the strong. I could already hear the dialogue. Like Gas would be like, "Yeah, I'm the strongest in Universe 7 after my wish," and then Jiren would be like, "I was the strongest amongst all of the universes at the turn of the power," and then, "Oh, okay, well, blah blah blah. You didn't fight me,"
Oh.
and then, yeah, get smacked. Go Jiren.
Speaking of the Pride Troopers, do you think they're gonna put all of them in Tenkaichi 4?
They should.
Oh yeah, because we talked about how the Pride Troopers in totality were very disappointing. Only three amounted to shit. Like there
Yeah, I
was
mean,
none. The rest were absolute garbage.
yeah, I mean they were, but I mean someone needs to be the punching bag, and if they're going to have 250 characters, you got to just fit everyone in there, and but I mean, yeah, they get Mr. Commando or whatever his name in there. That's
Oh my God, he was
now, the
bad.
problem is that are they going to have everyone from Universe 10 like that trash
Gawasu's
dude?
group?
Yeah, Gawasu's, all the guys who drink protein shakes and think that they're buff, and then they get fucking smacked. They should have been the
Oh
ones who died first, to be honest with you. They,
man, it's gonna be wild. You're gonna have Rebrand's crew probably in there. But on a serious note, though, Mitch, we know these companies are greedy, hungry bastards. How much of this are you think they're actually gonna split into paid DLC? Because this will be the first time Tenkaichi can do DLC. Because this game hasn't been out since PlayStation 2.
I honestly am trying to now think back to Xenoverse. I'm trying to think, what did the base game come out with? Like, who was the Who was the furthest they went in that storyline?
Well, Goku had Super Saiyan Blue. I think was it Resurrection F?
See, I'm thinking actually back to Xenoverse 1 storyline
Oh,
because,
Xenoverse 1. Ooh.
well, yeah, it did. Because, yeah, right now I have the memory of when Demigod tried to control Beerus, and then Beerus was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, like that moment was so fucking sweet.
Yeah, I think they stopped at Beerus. I think Beerus was the last thing of
Yeah, Beerus in Xenoverse 2, I feel like it was DLC for like Universe 6.
yes, they were DLC. Goku Black, I believe you got him on the pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their story ended like with well, Frieza, you had the Frieza stuff.
Let's see here.
Because
Let
I'm
me see.
actually on there. Yeah, Emperor's yeah, after you beat Frieza's stuff, then you do the stuff with Mira, Toa, go to the demon world, and that's the main story. Yeah, because I remember Goku
Yeah.
Black's story was all DLC, and obviously the Tournament of Power, all of them were DLC.
On the wiki here, DLC Pack 1
Mhm.
included Frost and Kaba.
Yep.
2 had Vados, Champa.
Okay. So Universe
Had,
6, Universe 7 tournament was the first DLC.
yeah, so Battle of Gods was like the last thing. And Xenoverse 2 was released in 2015. No, 16.
Hmm.
And Super started. When did Super start again? 13? When the movie came out, what,
Yeah,
13?
13.
The anime started in when did the anime? Oh my God, I'm tripping. Yeah, so essentially what I'm thinking of here is that yeah, to answer your question, they'll probably break it up into no, I don't know. Could you really do that and expect people to actually buy it? You know what I mean? Like,
Oof.
because we've had the anime for 5 years, 6 years. Like,
Hmm.
you really going to pump out a freaking game that that stops at like black? Yeah. Actually, hold on. Let me stop. Let me stop you right there. They could. They might. Because they've already done that kind of shit. Um, wasn't it Burst Limit who didn't it didn't go into the Boo saga?
Yeah, Burst Limit did not. It ended at Cell, and then they had a what if story of Broly coming at a different time and he fought everyone in that end like and then his end scene is like Goku going Super Saiyan 2. Yeah, Burst Limit did not go to Boo.
No, they did not. They did not, even though we had Boo for 20 years.
Yeah, no
And
Boo, no GT, none.
no DLC, but not that was before DLC was cool, you know? Like
Oh
shit.
man,
Do
I do Burst Limit was some good times though.
you remember having to try to grind out through those cutscenes? Had to
Oh
try to
yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
trigger to figure out what the fuck the trigger effects were to get them,
Hmm.
and then actually keep them unlocked for like your progression. You had to win. You had to win the fight.
Yeah, that mechanic was crazy. Like,
It was pretty fucking hard.
oh my
And Kid
gosh.
Gohan was the strongest character because he was the shortest stature.
I would
Broly's
also
freaking fist would go over his freaking character.
I would also say any character too, like Vegeta back in that game where if you could do your ultimate move in 3 bars, you were really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but Mitch, man, this is last Dragon Ball pod, last pod of 2023 for the L7C. And again, next year we do not know what the hell we're stepping into with Dragon Ball.
Should be good though. It's gonna be exciting.
Oh, yeah. I
But everyone
cannot
listening, you
wait.
gotta tell your friends to tune in.
Yeah, definitely tell them to tune in. Now we got to actually. when spoilers come out, like when the own spoilers that they control what comes out to get us talking, they come out, we're gonna be like, oh, what's going on? Is it what are we doing? Is it Goten and Trunks realizing like, hey, we gotta train up because that was embarrassing? Or is it Gohan training like, hey, or is it back to Goku and Vegeta training? Is it Broly training? Is it
Yep.
Frieza? Is it the different universes? We have no idea. And anyone who's on YouTube saying they know what next is, they do not. So don't listen to that. They're lying. That's all speculation.
Yep. Don't listen to them. Just listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about, but guess what? We acknowledge that. Therefore, we're the most trustworthy. So,
That's true. That's true. All right, man. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. By the time you hear this, holiday season may be over, close to over, but if not, have a happy holidays celebrating whatever you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and have a happy new year. We can't wait to come back and talk new Dragon Ball stuff, man. So with that being said, L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.